1. SSCP, Systems Security Certified Practitioner, the ISC2 certification for IT administrators and security practitioners, validating hands-on technical security skills. 2. ISC2 International Information System Security Certification Consortium, the organization administering the SSCP certification requiring 1 year of professional experience. 3. CIA Triad, the 3 core security objectives: confidentiality, protecting against unauthorized disclosure; integrity, ensuring data accuracy; and availability, ensuring systems are accessible. 4. Access control, mechanisms restricting system and data access to authorized users based on defined permissions and rules. 5. Need to know, the principle that individuals should only access information necessary for their specific job functions. 6. Least privilege, granting users and processes only the minimum access rights needed to perform their assigned tasks. 7. Separation of duties, dividing critical tasks among multiple individuals to prevent any single person from committing fraud. Mandatory Access Control, MAC, a system where access decisions are controlled by the operating system based on security labels. 9. Discretionary Access Control, DAC, a system where resource owners control access by setting permissions on their own resources. 10. Role-Based Access Control, RBAC, assigning permissions based on job role rather than to individual accounts. 11. Attribute-Based Access Control, ABAE, making access decisions based on attributes of users' resources and environment. 12. Multi-factor authentication, requiring 2 or more verification factors before granting system access. 13. Single sign-on, authenticating once to access multiple systems without repeated credential entry. 14. Federation, establishing trust between identity providers, enabling cross-domain authentication and access. 15. Identity lifecycle, the process of provisioning, maintaining and deprovisioning user accounts throughout their employment. 16. Provisioning, creating and configuring user accounts and permissions when a user joins or changes roles. 17. Deprovisioning, removing access rights and disabling accounts when a user leaves or changes roles. 18. Access review, periodic examination of user access rights to verify they remain appropriate and compliant. 19. Password policy, rules governing password complexity, length history rotation, and lockout for account security. Privileged account, an administrative or service account with elevated permissions requiring additional security controls. Cryptography, the science of protecting information using mathematical algorithms, ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity. Chapter 22. Symmetric encryption, using the same key for both encryption and decryption. Fast and efficient for large data sets. 23. Asymmetric encryption, using a public key for encryption and a private key for decryption, enabling secure key exchange. 24. AES, Advanced Encryption Standard, the current standard for symmetric encryption supporting 128, 192, and 256-bit key sizes. 25. SA, Rivest Shamir Adleman, the most widely deployed asymmetric encryption algorithm for key exchange and digital signatures. 26. Hash function, a one-way mathematical function producing a fixed-length output used to verify data integrity. SHA-256, secure hash algorithm 256-bit, a widely used cryptographic hash, ensuring strong data integrity verification. 28. Digital signature, a cryptographic mechanism using the sender's private key to prove authenticity and non-repudiation. 9. PKI, public key infrastructure, the framework of certificates authorities, policies and standards supporting asymmetric cryptography. 30. Certificate authority, a trusted entity issuing digital certificates binding public keys to verified identities. 31. TLS, transport layer security, the protocol encrypting data in transit for secure web email and other communications. 32. Encryption at rest, protecting stored data using cryptographic mechanisms to prevent unauthorized reading of storage media. 33. Encryption in transit, protecting data moving across networks using protocols like TLS to prevent interception. 34. Key management, policies and procedures for generating, distributing, storing, rotating, and destroying cryptographic keys. Network security, controls, protecting the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data across network infrastructure. 36. Firewall, a network device filtering traffic between segments based on rules, enforcing network security policy. 37. ACL, access control list, a list of rules on a router or firewall permitting or denying traffic based on defined criteria. IDS, intrusion detection system, monitoring network or system activity and alerting on suspicious behavior. IPS, intrusion prevention system, an active IDS capable of automatically blocking detected threats. 40. VLAN, virtual local area network, a logical network, segmentation controlling broadcast domains and enforcing access separation. 41. DMZ, demilitarized zone, a network segment isolating public-facing services from the internal network. 42. VPN, virtual private network, an encrypted tunnel providing secure connectivity over an untrusted public network. NAT, network address translation, mapping private IP addresses to public addresses, providing an additional layer of obscurity. 44. Wireless security, controls addressing risks specific to Wi-Fi networks, including encryption authentication and rogue AP detection. 45. WPA2, Wi-Fi Protected Access 2, the wireless security standard using AES encryption and 802.1x authentication. 46. Rogue access point, an unauthorized wireless access point connected to a network, creating an uncontrolled entry point. 47. Network scanning, using tools like Nmap to discover host services and open ports across the network. Vulnerability scanning, automated identification of known security weaknesses in systems and applications. Patch management, identifying, testing, and applying software updates to address known vulnerabilities across systems. Change management, a controlled process for requesting, evaluating, approving, and implementing changes to IT systems. 51. Configuration management, maintaining documented baseline configurations and tracking all changes to systems. 52. Baseline, the approved minimum security configuration for a system type, used as a reference for deviation detection. 53. Hardening, reducing the attack surface by removing unnecessary services, applying patches, and enforcing security configurations. 54. Security monitoring, continuously observing systems and networks to detect anomalies and potential security events. 55. CM, Security Information and Event Management, aggregating and correlating log data for threat detection and investigation. 56. Log Management, collecting, storing, protecting, and analyzing audit logs from systems and applications. SINTS, Audit Log, a chronological record of user activities, system events, and security-relevant actions. Event, a discrete occurrence in a system or network that may be relevant to security monitoring. 59. Alert, a notification generated when a monitored condition matches a defined rule or threshold. Incident, a security event indicating potential compromise of confidentiality, integrity, or availability. 61. Incident response, the structured process for detecting, containing, eradicating, and recovering from security incidents. Incident response plan, documented procedures defining roles, responsibilities, and steps for handling specific incident types. 63. Triage, evaluating alerts and incidents to determine severity and assign appropriate response priority. Containment, actions taken to limit the scope and impact of an active security incident. Eradication, removing the root cause of an incident from affected systems, including malware and attacker footholds. 66. Recovery, restoring systems and data to normal operation after a security incident has been contained. 67. Forensics, collecting, preserving, analyzing, and presenting digital evidence to support investigation and legal proceedings. Chain of custody, documentation, tracking evidence, handling to maintain integrity and legal admissibility. Risk management, the process of identifying, assessing, treating, and monitoring risks to organizational assets. C. Risk assessment, evaluating threats, vulnerabilities, and potential impacts to prioritize security controls. Threat, any potential cause of harm to an information asset, including external attackers, insiders, and natural events. Vulnerability, a weakness in a system control or process that a threat could exploit to cause harm. Malware, malicious software designed to damage, disrupt, or gain unauthorized access to computer systems. 74. Virus, malware, attaching to files and spreading when those files are executed by users. 75. Worm, self-replicating malware spreading through networks without requiring user interaction. 76. Ransomware, malware and encrypting victim data and demanding payment for the decryption key. 77. Phishing, fraudulent messages designed to trick users into revealing credentials or installing malware. 78. Social engineering, manipulating human psychology to bypass technical controls and gain unauthorized access. Buffer overflow, an attack overwriting adjacent memory by exceeding buffer capacity, allowing execution of attacker code. 80. SQL injection, inserting malicious SQL into input fields to manipulate databases and extract sensitive data. 81. Cross-site scripting, injecting malicious scripts into web pages to execute in other users' browsers. Denial of service, overwhelming a system with traffic or requests to make it unavailable to legitimate users. Business continuity plan, a documented strategy for maintaining critical operations during significant disruptions. 84. Disaster recovery plan, procedures for restoring IT systems and operations following a major incident. 85. Backup, Copies of data stored separately, enabling recovery after data loss, corruption, or attack. 86. Recovery time objective. The maximum acceptable downtime before a system must be restored after a disruption. 87. Recovery point objective. The maximum acceptable data loss measured as time elapsed since the last backup. 88. Data classification, categorizing information based on sensitivity to apply appropriate protection controls. 89. Data handling, policies governing how classified data is stored, transmitted, shared, archived, and destroyed. 90. Privacy, legal and ethical obligations, controlling collection, use, and sharing of personal information. 91. PII, personally identifiable information. Data that can identify an individual directly or in combination with other data. 92. Physical security, controls protecting personnel, equipment, and facilities from physical threats and unauthorized access. A security awareness. Training and education programs ensuring employees understand threats and their security responsibilities. Secure SDLC, integrating security requirements and testing into every phase of the software development lifecycle. 95. Code review, examining application source code to identify security vulnerabilities before deployment. 96. Penetration testing, authorized simulated attacks, identifying exploitable vulnerabilities in systems before attackers do. 97. Threat intelligence, information about known and emerging threats, informing defensive decisions and control improvements. Zero trust, a security model requiring continuous verification of every user device and transaction. Cloud security, controls and practices managing security risks in cloud computing environments. 100. SSCP exam. ISC2's 125 question exam covering 7 domains from access controls to network and communications security.